What's up, everyone, and welcome to Shared Save the Game Media's weekly gaming discussion podcast. I am your host, Kevin, and on today's episode, we're going to recap that PlayStation State of Play Japan edition. We're going to talk all about Valve entering the console wars with its new Steam machine and so much more. Before we get to that, got to introduce my co-host, as always, hanging out with me, Sam Heaney. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty good on the whole. I'm not going to say it because it's just like it's a foregone conclusion, right? So I'm just going to leave it there. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But besides that, pretty good. I've started sorting out things for family for Christmas, and I think that sort of got me in a bit of a positive, festive mood. And I've been playing some good games, so yeah, I don't really have anything to complain about. How are
That's
you?
good to hear it. Yeah, I've also started thinking about for Christmas for in terms of for gifts for people, and then also I think we need to figure out what we're doing in terms of content. For a game of the year. Do we wait until January to do that? Or fantasy critic will next year. Like we got some content. The holiday period is always something we got to work through, especially because I'll be leaving the first 12 days of January, not December, but January. I will be off. But other than that, I'm okay. I told a story in the Discord, but for people that aren't in the Discord, one, you should be. Two, we tried to go to the gym today. All right, after work, 3:30. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. Gonna get a workout in before the podcast. I'm about 15 minutes into my run. The fire alarm goes off, and they're like, everyone out. I'm like, all right, fine. How long? This will be over quick, right? Proceed to just stand in the cold in shorts and t-shirts. It's like 36 degrees out in New York right now. Wind whipping me. I'm like freezing. I'm there for maybe 45 minutes. And then I was like, is this ever going to end? I finally go and sit in my car for 15 and nothing changes. So then I just leave. I'm like, I've devoted an hour. I've tried my best to be healthy today, but this ain't happening. So if the gym was going to burn down, it would have burned down at that point because the fire truck's clearly not interested in showing up.
Maybe it was sending you a message, just today wasn't the day.
There were other people that like left things in there, like their car keys, clothes, because like they just assumed it was going to be like an in and out thing, like very quickly, like resolved. So
Never
they're
do that.
like they can't even leave. Like they can't even go home if they wanted to because their stuff is just stuck inside.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a frustrating situation. People got a little Karen-y and they started going at the employees, and I was like, it's not there. They don't make the rules, but it is what it
They
is.
do start the fires. Just
They,
letting you know,
I
Kev.
assume they did start the fire. Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I see some people hanging out with us in the chat. Silknet, Captain Logan, Nicholas Johnson, Alpaca Tom. Shout out everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you. So why don't we get through some housekeeping before we jump into the show? This is Shared Save, our weekly gaming discussion podcast right here on Save the Game Media. If you can't catch us, well, I'm sorry, we are live every Thursday on youtube.com/Save the Game Media. If you can't catch us live, of course, every Sunday on your favorite audio platform of choice. While you're over there, please make sure to drop us a review. It does help us greatly. If you want to support us even further, get early audio access to this podcast, the exclusive benefit of writing in with your topic for the week, and exclusive bonus content. I can't talk today. Bonus content like my monthly Q&A and our exclusive Shared Save episode. Head over to patreon.com/Save the Game Media. Choose the tier that's right for you, like our current supporters. So thank you to Sam Hall, Alpaca Tom, Rick Davis, Silkenet, Dave Harp, David Hotright, Lillian, Marcus O'Neill, Brendan Myers, aka the Winter Gamer, Nikolai at Night, Fabulous Brianna, Brandon, and Black Wyver. Thank you all for your support. We appreciate each and every one of you. That's housekeeping done. So Sam, why don't we jump into what have you been playing?
Been playing the Outer Worlds 3.
Three. What, three?
Yeah.
Wow, you just
Yeah.
you just skipped ahead, huh?
Just surprised if you play it for 130 hours, it actually just rolls into the sequel. It's a really well hidden thing. Fair
Wow.
play to Obsidian for doing it. They put out 4 games this year, I guess. No, I'm still playing Outer Worlds 2, as one could have predicted. But
Mm-hmm.
and I
Don't
know I
say
said
it.
it. I know I
Don't
said.
say
I
it.
know I. s- I that I know I. s-
Heard it
I know I
four
said.
times.
I know. 4th time's the charm. I said it last time, but I do mean it this time. As of today, I have technically finished my coverage, so it is done. Now I could potentially, I'm not expecting this, I could potentially be roped in to do a couple more things on the back end just to tidy some things up, but not any like actual heavy duty from scratch work. So I am technically done.
Everyone in the chat, this is what I need you to do. I need you to email IGN and say, I would really love coverage about this. Can you get Sam Heaney to? He just writes such good guides. I just flood their inboxes with this. We need to make this happen.
I will set off fire alarms in every single one of your houses.
Songkui.
Donkey!
Well, I'm glad you're almost done with that. Like I said, I think 3 episodes ago at this point, doesn't sound like my ideal way to play the Outer Worlds.
No, I mean, like it happens from time to time with these projects where, based on the nature of these games, you just it chips away at you, and it's not a fun thing that you can, sort of recycle through, and it's monotonous, and that's unfortunate. So,
Can I just say,
yeah,
Silkin's comment genuinely got me to chuckle. Says, now all your hours are for pure pleasure and the love of the game. What a champ.
you should go into stand up, Sogana, because that's a really funny joke. It's a really funny joke.
I thought it was funny.
I'll let it slide. It's okay. But besides that, I have been playing 2 very good games. Not that Outer Worlds 2 isn't good, but you know what I mean. That I actually am enjoying. So I'm continuing through 1000 Times Resist. I'm doing like a chapter every couple of days. So I'm what did I just wrap up yesterday? I think I finished chapter 6 yesterday. So I'm having a great time with that still. I will go for the platinum on it. Inherently, like that's sort of a foregone conclusion. And yeah, it's there are moments in that game that just blindside you. It's very basic presentation wise, but then it just does things with music and with like camera perspective. If you know, you know. I will just repeat saying the same thing, so I'm just going to move on to the final game. Only an hour and a half, 2 hours in it so far because I only picked it up today, this afternoon. But I've been jumping into Lumina's Arise.
Game of the year contender, from what critics tell me.
Yes, I've heard good words across the social feeds. Some PlayStation centric podcasters certainly I've heard good things from. Not dropping any names, but I can't say I disagree. I can't say that I disagree.
It's got that Tetris effect magic, huh?
It does. It
Yeah.
really does, Kev. And again, I'm not a massive Tetris fan, but I think that Tetris Effect is one of the most sort of transformative, ethereal experiences that I've ever had. And that says a lot when all you're doing is playing Tetris. And I was even, I don't know, I don't want to say that I was even less of a fan of Luminous than I was of Tetris, because I would probably flip it the other way around. But I only played one Luminous game originally on the PSP, and I liked it enough. But it is recapturing, like you said, the Tetris Effect magic. I'm obviously playing it in PlayStation VR. I'm sure the flat screen experience is great as well, but in the same way that Tetris Effect is like meant to be played in VR, this is obviously the same. And I will say I don't think that the OST is hitting quite as hard as Tetris Effect does. But this is like my first pass, and I'm only like through 8 levels. So I'm gonna give it a bit of time to grow on me. I'm obviously gonna go back through levels and try and get high scores and things. So yeah, hearty recommend. I think for anybody, obviously, that loved Tetris Effect, and anybody who likes Luminas. But I, I think if you have a VR headset, it's like a must play in the same way that Tetris Effect was.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear. I'm surprised it reviewed so well. Like I think it's only at 89. It
Hmm.
might have dropped by then, but like absolutely crazy. And I know I was ragging on some people in our fantasy league there that they've just missed so many chances to get back into the league.
That's right.
You and my obviously I'm gonna win, but you and myself leading up the table, and then we got these schmucks just picking up games that are like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to score 70, and they're just missing all these big hitters.
See, but if you hadn't done the subterfuge of telling Bree to counterpick the God of War game, then I would have been in with the fighting chance because I probably would have picked Luminous.
But I'm playing chess, y'all playing checkers. All
You're
right.
playing dirty. That's what you're playing.
It's not my listen. You could have told somebody, hey, you can counterpick GTA 6.
I
Nobody
mean,
did.
hey, I could have, but that was a scary move, you know.
Go do it next
2026
year.
is a
We're gonna do it
one-on-one,
next
so
year.
you haven't got any of those odds in your favor there.
Yeah. I was thinking about obviously we're gonna do a one-on-one league. We're gonna have a lot of games. That's gonna be a really competitive league. But I was thinking like obviously community one, but like maybe I start throwing out some challenges to other podcast groups here. All right. Maybe
Mm,
some of our friends. Marcus O'Neill has like 3 podcasts now, and he's the fantasy critic champ. So I can definitely call one of them out. But there's some options. I might issue some challenges that
sounds good to
obviously
me.
you and me combined, no one stands a
Unimaginable.
chance. Yeah,
Just
that's right.
hang on, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Oh no, the other way. The other way. We just fused for the audio listeners. It was really, really great. Well, I'm glad to hear about you playing some awesome games. Some of those are certainly on my list that I will get to at some point. But I have been playing a ton of games this week.
You have.
I wrapped up Tales of Exilia remastered, and took me about 18, 19-ish hours. Obviously, it goes a lot quicker with the remaster because you have a lot of the grade shop open to you, and you can level up a lot fast. It's a friendly experience. Like even on hard, I was melting through enemies. So
Mm,
it's a very they want you to just get through the game and experience. They don't want you to have to struggle really. But I really liked it. Probably one of not it's probably not in my top 3, but like just outside my top 3 for Tales games. Combat's fantastic. The characters are really endearing. They have depth to them. There's a few things that I have some nitpicks here and there about, like how the characters interact and certain plot beats and things, but I do overall really like it.
awesome.
After that, I was like, what should I go play next? Because my game budget is depleted for the year. And then I was like, oh, Hirogami got an update that they were talking about as being like a big update. It took a few extra weeks to come to PS5. It was on PC for the update anyway. So I was like, okay, I'll jump in, see what they changed, because they promised like improved combat, better camera angles, all this stuff. And I go in, they removed the one annoying requirement that I had, which was like you had to complete a certain number of challenges to access the final boss. So I'm glad to see they removed that. I beat the boss. But I will say I don't really see any improvements. The camera's still bad. The gameplay feels exactly the same.
Damn.
I don't really know what they were hyping up with this announcement, but I beat the game. I rolled credits, so I could check that one off my list. I don't like having games unfinished, especially when you're
Yes.
like at the final boss. That kind of annoyed me. So I'm glad I went. I didn't download it either. I streamed it through shout out PS Plus streaming. Let's go. I was like, I'm not even gonna waste my bandwidth, and downloading this. I'm
Sure.
just gonna stream it. So that took me about 20 minutes. Awful boss fight. Just really too long, not fun, just a pain. Just a pain.
That's so
Unfortunately,
sad.
yeah. Game with a lot of visual promise, but gameplay lets it down consistently.
Where have I heard that before?
I don't know. I don't know.
There's just like this is like a plucky.
Oh yeah, don't even talk. This is better than Plucky Squire. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean,
Almost
it
say
doesn't
that.
take much, let's be honest.
Yeah. My most disappointing game of last year. So after that, I have been playing the Jackbox Party Pack 11.
Mm.
Now, I am a Jackbox connoisseur, you may say. I've played quite a number. I don't know if I played all 11, but I played at least a handful or more of the Jackbox Party Pack games. Primarily because they're so easy to play with only one person having them. So, like my friend he owns most of them, so he bought this one, and then he just streams it through Discord. We all join on our phone or our browser, and like we can experience the game without all having to buy it. I think that's a really great feature. It becomes like a party game that where you don't all have to be in person since we live across the states. But they have some really good games in here. One in particular is called Legends of Trivia. It's trivia, which is a trivia based RPG. So it's up to 6 players.
Oh.
You each pick a class that have like different stats, so like more damage, more health. One, they earn more coins. Like they'll have different statuses that you go into battle with, and then you all have to answer trivia to damage and progress through the RPG. So
Mm.
they'll ask you questions about like pop culture, history, like just the most obscure things, and they have different types of trivia. Some is just multiple choice. Some are like if the picture fits the category, like give us a thumb up, yes or no, like a whole bunch of unique things in there. So I played through that quite a few times. There's only 3 stories, and you can probably get through them in maybe hour and a half total. So it's not like super long, but it is fun. It's enjoyable. It's lots of laughs, especially when you get a question that you have no idea about, and you're all just like randomly guessing, or like you sound, oh, I know this one for sure, and then you're just totally wrong. You look like an idiot. So a lot of fun with that game. The other game modes are pretty good too. There is one where it's kind of like it's like mafia werewolf. Like you have to find who the imposter is. That one is kind of fun. You get to interrogate your friends and like figure out like why'd you put this like weird answer or not. There's one where you just have to try to make statements as inappropriate as possible. Classic Jackbox fashion. Then the other one is like decorating a cookie, which I thought was dumb personally. But yeah, good time with that one. I'm really, if you're looking for a party game, highly recommend.
Nice.
And then there's 2 games left. I've been playing a lot, like I said. So why don't we talk about the game I did a review for that's on the channel? If you haven't checked it out yet, please go do. Sonic Rumble. This is a free to play Sonic game that is inspired by Fall Guys. And when I put up the review, a lot of people say, oh, I never even heard of this game. And I was like, wow, I'm not surprised, right? So Sonic Rumble is best described as hollow to me, where instead of the fun of Fall Guys, where it's like, oh, it's a silly, like your beans, but at the end you like we win a crown and you have all these like cool animations and you feel like, oh, I'm the champion of the show, right? Essentially Sonic Rumble they give you a bland Sonic Forces avatar to start, and then they're like, okay, this is the game. You play 3 rounds every time, and they tend to be the same ones every time, maybe different maps. But you have a race, then you have some sort of like coin or a ring collection, and then maybe like a battle where you have to fight other people. But it's ultimately whoever has the most rings at the end wins. Then you just see these are the top 3 players, and then you do it all again, and then you use your rings to buy cosmetics, emojis, whatever you want. You can buy actual Sonic characters. My problem is it just doesn't feel good. It's very janky, very
Mm.
clunky. The movement doesn't feel good. For a Sonic game, you are incredibly slow. So like gotta go fast. You certainly will not in this game. Very, very disappointing. I failed to find the fun here. And that's like I love Fall Guys. I love Sonic. So this should have been something I could have enjoyed, but like I just there's nothing here for me. There's nothing. This feels like a lifeless cash grab.
Yeah, it didn't look great from the review. So thank you for your service.
Yeah, it's apparently hit 10 million players. So I
What?
saw Sega, yeah, I saw Sega put in their financial report the Sonic Rumble had 10 million players. It is on mobile, So I assume that is where the majority of people are playing it, because
Hopefully,
I
Christ.
don't think Steam has that many players like active. It's like a few thousand, but yeah, this is, you know what this reminds me of, and it's not in the news, but that Ratchet and Clank game that was announced for mobile and PC. I was like, I'm gonna boot it up and I'm gonna make almost the same video. I can guarantee it that like when I play that Ratchet and Clank game, it's going to be next year's Sonic Rumble for me.
Sure.
The last game I'm playing, As Dusk Falls.
Mm.
Are you familiar, Sam? Have you played As Dusk Falls?
No, but I have it on my dashboard installed from
Oh.
PlayStation Plus, so it will be something I get to shortly.
Yes, so that is where I found it on PS Plus. I am playing it with my fiance. We were going to play Until Dawn remake, but we've already played Until Dawn. So I was like, all right, is there anything else that like before we commit to this? Is there anything else we could play? And I was like, oh, As Dusk Falls. I've heard good things about it. Reviewed quite well. I'm not a huge fan of like the stop motion art style. That doesn't really do it for me. I will say narrative quite good, quite
Mm.
engrossing. I think there's 6 chapters and we're already about halfway through it. It doesn't seem very long, maybe like 5-6 hours for a playthrough if it continues at its current pace. But the narrative's engaging, the characters are likable and dislikable depending on what you're doing. And what I really like about As Dusk Falls is at the end it gives you kind of like a web, and it shows you like the percentage of people that picked your choice, and like it doesn't show you all the options, but it lets you know how many different paths this could have gone down. And for some reason, like we're getting really low percentages, like 20% of people went with you on this path. I'm like, damn, we're picking all the unpopular options, but I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to play more and see where the story goes. And like I said, not a long game, which is great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to it too. I mean, I've heard good things. It's was sort of filling that gap where I mean, obviously we just had Dispatch, but it's kind of filling a bit of the Telltale void from what I can gather in the choice decision making, and like you say, like you get the percentage breakdowns of who made what choice and things like that. So it's good to hear that it's also seemingly quite short, because I think if it was a bit more of a time commitment, it might have put me off of diving in.
hmm Yeah, no, it's fun. I'm enjoying it, and I will say the QTEs are a lot harder than what Supermassive is doing. Like they have,
Okay.
it's you gotta rotate stuff, and like you have less
Oh,
time, and it's a little quicker pace for sure.
okay. Okay.
I feel like I have to address this as the chat's having their own conversation over here about me playing Bloodborne,
I
because I
mean,
said I don't like to leave games unfinished.
yeah.
A pack of Tom is even offering to pay for my next full game if I finish Bloodborne. Don't tempt me, don't tempt me, guys. I think I can't remember where I said it, but I have been thinking about Bloodborne recently. It's in the back here. All right.
Fear the old blood.
When I'm thinking about games to play, it is. Maybe look, what if I just I'm not saying I will do this, but what if I've just like committed to like I'll stream it on Sundays or something, like slowly
Yeah.
chip away at it or something, because people
Yeah.
really like seeing it, and I could use the help. All right, I could use the help, people. But
Sure.
we'll see.
Okay.
I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
Don't give me hope.
I won't. I won't. Well, that is it for what I've been playing. I also do have I have Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2 now. So those are probably next up on the docket, though. So Bloodborne might have to wait until I'm done with those. We'll
Mm,
see. We'll see.
convenient. Yeah.
Maybe I need like a break in between. That's a
Sure.
lot of Yakuza in a
Hmm.
row. All right, Sam, you want to jump into the news for the week?
Let's do it.
Let's start with the state of play recap, because that is going to undoubtedly be a short topic.
Yeah.
Uh, would you like to take this one as our PlayStation or our PlayStation person?
Sure.
All right. I did put a
Yeah.
link
So
if you need it.
I've got the link up. Don't
Okay.
worry. So people that weren't in the know, Sony did a state of play, but not any ordinary state of play, ladies and gentlemen. This was the very first state of play Japan focused on games coming to and from the Asia and Japan areas. It lasted about 40 minutes, the show, so a sizable length for a state of play, but I think that made it all the more disappointing. So I don't think that the listing here is in order of reveal, but that doesn't really matter because there wasn't many reveals. So BlazBlue, blah, 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 blah. BlazBlue Entropy Effect X, a roguelike action spin-off of the BlazBlue series coming on February 12th of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the one where the woman had the pulsing breasts? I think this is the one. There was a lot of that, to be fair.
So you have to be way more specific about that. This might have been one of those. This game is already out, or at least an iteration of this game is already out on PC. Has been for a few months because I used to get press releases, and I do like BlazBlue. This isn't quite. It's not what I'm looking for the series. By all accounts, it is a good game and it looks very good, but I can't say I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I said at the top of the state of play reaction, not much is going to do anything for me, and this certainly was not for me. But hey, there's plenty more, right? We got 2 Broken Law games, Broken Law Unfollow and Broken Law Ascend. Broken Law Unfollow is coming out January 16th, and then Broken Law Ascend was just a reveal trailer, so I assume that's a reasonable distance out. From what I remember from the live react, we were both kind of like, I don't hate this.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this before. But
Nor have I. This was, I think we're both in this camp where this looks pretty good, actually. Like it had the vibes, it had the visuals to go with what you're looking for the a first person horror experience. Certainly has some creepy aspects where a person's neck was like stretching, but I know that was the reveal one. But I wouldn't say this is one like, oh my god, day one you have to pick it up, but this is maybe one like wish list and get down the line if you were into these types of games. I in terms of what was here at the state of play, I think this was actually one of the highlights.
For sure. Agreed. Next, we had Coffee Talk Tokyo. Now, I've played and platinumed both Coffee Talk games, so I'm on board. I don't know that I'm in the space where I don't know that I necessarily need more Coffee Talk, but I'll take it. That one's coming March 5th of next year. Lots of games coming out in the first half of next. I wonder why, Kev. I wonder why.
Because they thought GTA was coming.
Yeah, but it's not anymore.
Coffee Talk. The only thing I really know about it is that Ethan, my old Project X Talk co-host, really loved these games. Couldn't speak highly enough about them. Not a Kevin game certainly, but I hope it lives up to the standards of the franchise.
Ethan's actually the guy who put me onto these.
Really?
Yeah, heard it from him, and I was like, oh, I'll check them out, and I like them.
Influencer. Look at that.
Yeah, all this time later. God bless. Next up, the undisputable highlight of the show, Kev.
Is that what we're calling it?
Damon and Baby coming to both PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 in early 2026. Anything?
I think it should be called Damon and the Baby, like a sitcom, almost. But it looks fine. Like it's a twin stick shooter with some platforming elements in there. I don't particularly care for like the art style or like the way the main character looks, and I think the name is silly. But maybe I hope it does well for Arc Systems because they're like publishing it. But it's not a game I'm gonna play.
Yeah, it has like, and I don't mean this overly derogatorily, but like it looks like a mobile game.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe it comes out to rave reviews. We'll have to wait and see.
Mobile slop.
What's not slop, apparently. Digimon Story Time Stranger is getting Alternate Dimension DLC arriving this winter, introducing 5 unique Digimon and a new story. I mean, I think we both like Digimon,
Yeah.
but I'm not into this kind of game. So
I would play the game if it wasn't like if it comes to PS Plus or something at some point. Like
yeah, that's true.
I would check it
Yeah,
out, but it's not something I like. Oh my god, I need to go play right now.
yeah. The trailers all look cool though. Like I can't deny that. So Dragon Quest VII reimagined. The chaddest of chins in this trailer.
Yeah, Prince
It's
Charming introduced it.
That's right. That's right. From Shrek. It's coming February 5th of next year. I'm not a massive Dragon Quest guy.
I hate Dragon
So,
Quest.
well,
Square Enix,
moving on.
that doesn't mean I won't review it. Square Enix, all right. If you're
That's true.
listening,
That's right.
all right, you've sent me 3 Dragon Quest games. Okay, I haven't liked any of them, but maybe fourth time's the charm.
Fourth time was the charm with me in Outer Worlds. So,
That's right.
Dragon Warriors Origins Visions of 4 Heroes DLC launching on January 22nd. New story,
Golf
new
clap.
allies, weapons.
Golf clap and move on.
Excellent. Well done for those of you that like that stuff. Good for you. Proud of you. A relatively big announcement, to be fair. The first DLC for Elden Ring Night Rain got announced. The Forsaken Hollows. Coming out December 4th, so very, very soon. Adding 2 new playable classes and new bosses. I did say in the live react, I was like, just show a Bloodborne character. They didn't show a Bloodborne character, but I did miss that at the end of the trailer, that was Artorias. Which obviously you know all about,
Yeah,
being
of
a
course.
Dark
I was
Souls
gonna,
aficionado.
I was gonna
So
say Artorias. Yeah, how could I
yeah,
forget?
who could exactly? So they are still committing to that. So it would be interesting to see. I mean, I think it has been restricted to just Dark Souls enemies thus far and characters, because I know that the Firekeeper from Dark Souls 3 is one of the NPCs. But it would be kind of sick. I don't know if they would do it because it might be licensing because Sony owns Bloodborne,
Mhm.
but just play nice with them. Give them, I don't know, any boss, Rom. Give them Rom
Put
as
some
like your spider.
Sekiro bosses in there. Really, just break the game.
That would be kind of crazy, actually. I would be down to see that just to see
Like,
what it looks like
just try to figure out how to fight a Sekiro boss that like relies
without
so
being able
much
to
on
parry it like crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, that was a relatively big thing. Another relatively big thing, I think, for those that care, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake. I think we have seen this before, though, right?
We have. It's been
Yeah.
at a Nintendo Direct.
That's right. Coming out March 12th, 2026. I mean, it looks good, but we both said we don't really care about Fatal Frame. So
Yeah, it's just one of those series that like I know will stick around. Clearly has a devoted fan base, but I just don't get the like in terms of horror games. Fatal Frame is not one that like oh my god that's the one I'm going to go play. If I'm going to go choose to play a horror game, I have so many options I would pick before Fatal Frame.
agreed. I mean, based on the picture that is on the PlayStation blog for this one, we have more pulsing breasts, everybody. Fate Trigger, a next generation tactical hero shooter entering early access in Q1 of next year.
All right, everyone. Picture Genshin Impact and those style games, but what if it was a PvP shooter? That is Fate Trigger.
I mean, talking about pulsing breasts, one of the characters is called Tata. So
She's a defender with mini turrets.
mini turrets, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Hey, not many about them turrets, you know what I'm saying?
Then we had Gran Turismo 7 with the Power Pack DLC. Now, I still don't know what this is.
What is it?
It's coming December 4th. This paid add-on will introduce a brand new game mode packed with authentic motorsport challenges, including 24-hour endurance racing and full race weekends. So it is in-game stuff that is just replicating real world racing things.
Who can race for 24 hours though? Like you need to eat and sleep and bathe and like how would this physically be possible to do?
I mean, you are doubting a lot of people out there, Kev. You're throwing down a gauntlet I don't think you want to throw down. They'll do it.
Is Tom still in the chat? I know he has a racing wheel setup, or he did at one point. All right, can you explain the GT7 stuff? I don't know if you're a GT guy, but can you just let me know? Like, would you sit in that chair and just for 24 hours?
Hey, I can think of worse things to do.
I can't.
Playing Plucky Squire.
Nope, I'd
Um,
rather do that.
oh wow. I don't even remember. Oh no, I do remember this one. Inconbini, one store, many stories. Coming in April next year. You are a convenience store clerk and you're putting stuff on the shelves and interacting with all the customers.
Mm-hmm.
I like the premise, but I think that the art style kind of put me off of this one.
Yeah, it's convenience store simulator. Nothing here for me personally,
Mm,
but again, it may find an audience. It may not, based on this name. I think if it had like a simulator in the name, I think it
sure.
would probably do better.
Something that's definitely up your street, though, Kev, right? Kyoran Machism.
You nailed that. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. January 29th, 3D action RPG from the Disgaea team. Hmm?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Disgaea. Yep. Sorry. You were talking about it before we went live that you heard something in your walls. I swear to God, I just started hearing things like, I don't know if it's through the wall or in the wall, but it was like,
In your walls.
yeah, in my walls.
Wow. They're coming for the
I,
both of us.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like I can hear someone next door typing really loudly, like not on their keyboard, but on like their phone.
Interesting. Oh, that is weirdly specific.
Yeah, it's like that. When you have your phone
Yeah,
unmuted,
yeah,
like
like,
I don't like it.
yeah.
I don't like it. Mute your
Oh,
phone, everyone. What are you doing?
okay. Mm.
Talking about this game though, this one definitely had pulsating breasts. Um,
Uh-huh.
but I will say this was probably the thing that interested me the most if I was
Okay.
to like pick a game. Just because I'm a sucker for 3D action RPGs. Disgaea kind of puts me off a little bit. I don't know if you know about Disgaea, but their whole thing is they like really crazy numbers, and I'm talking like you're doing 9 billion damage, and I'm not like exaggerate. Like they'll put ridiculous numbers on the screen just because it makes them feel good. The art style, like it looks very low fidelity, like
Yeah,
it's not screaming out to me, but maybe I would try it at some point.
sure. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is having another closed beta beginning December 7th through December 5th through the 7th, adding Spider-Man and Ghost Rider as playable characters. So that is the entire roster as we know it is now playable.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show anybody else though, Kev.
Yeah, I'm just gonna read Rick Davis's comment in the chat here. It says the biggest reveal of the show is the incredible blue balls that fighting game fans got seeing their favorite X-Men are relegated to background characters and not actually playable fighters in Tokon. Yes, Rick, I called this out during the stream, and I hope them being in the background doesn't mean that they can't be playable characters, because you had some quality X-Men there. Gambit, my boy Gambit. I pointed him out multiple. You have the character model, all right. You have him back there. I think there were other like Psylocke was there for sure. That would have been another awesome character.
Nightcrawler,
Nightcrawler was yeah,
Colossus,
Colossus.
Archangel,
Yeah, so many
Rogue was back
good.
there.
Yeah, Rogue was also back there. Like so many good X-Men. If being background characters does limit their roster, completely wasted them. Like I can't believe they would do that. I'm just more disappointed that we still don't have any new fighters announced for this game, and it seems like it's supposed to be coming soon, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. They just keep doing beta tests, which I'm like, okay, this clearly means the game should be coming soon, but you're not announcing anything, and it's a 4v4 fighter, and you showed 8 characters.
Yeah, I assume they are going to have to reveal some at Game Awards, I would have thought. which kind of makes sense. You know, it's a Marvel thing. You expose it to a massive audience there, so I could understand that.
Wolverine's definitely going to be playable, right? Like
Yeah, I would imagine Cyclops as well. Maybe. Uh,
Deadpool.
yeah, yeah, probably considering how popular he
Yeah,
is.
I'm just trying to think of like popular Marvel characters that would probably get like because I know Cosmic Invasion comes out in a few weeks and they have some like strange choices. Like they kind of tried to pick a few that aren't super popular. I don't know how much this game would do that because it's a fighting game and they're trying to appeal to more people. But yeah, I don't know. There's so many possibilities with Marvel. Probably some more villains will get in there too.
Magneto, maybe something like that.
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic, I think, would probably be a good shout to get in.
Yeah, I mean, with Fantastic Four
Well,
film just being
although
out,
Kamala Khan's already in there, so does that kind of because she kind of stretches.
she does. She
Might be a
does.
little too similar.
Yeah, maybe a different member of the Fantastic Four.
Human Torch.
Um, yeah, yeah. It's either that or Sue, I think. Because if
Mm,
you have the Thing, then that's too close to the Hulk, and you
That's what I
assume
was
the Hulk
thinking.
has to be in
I
here.
was like that. Literally my mindset. I was like, the thing is
So
way too similar to the Hulk.
anyway, we'll hopefully not have to wait too long to see other characters. But a new, not character, but monster being added to Monster Hunter Wilds in free title update 4 coming December 16th is the giant halberd dragon,
It's
Gogmazios.
Godzilla. They put Godzilla in Monster Hunter. Everyone.
They did. Um, I mean, you played it, but you dropped off. So
It's just not very good compared
yeah,
to the last Monster. Like they tried to force a story, which we don't need in this game. The multiplayer systems are so convoluted and annoying to like play with your friends. It's not worth the hassle.
yeah. Motion Wreck launching in spring 2026. Record and replay puzzle action game. I'm not into the art style really,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
but the concept it looks pretty cool in terms of like gameplay mechanics.
Agreed.
So if it's like a budget game that comes out at a decent price, and I mean that nicely,
Like $15,
yeah,
right?
then
Like,
I would
yeah.
probably definitely jump in and give it a go. So Nevergrave, The Witch and the Curse coming March 5th. Hollow Knight.
It definitely is. I forget who I said it. Someone called it a hollow like, and I was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not
I think we
making
are. We're doing that now.
We're
Yeah.
not making another genre where we just throw like on the
Sounds
end
good
of
to me.
things. No, yeah, clearly inspired by Hollow Knight. I think the game looks really good, like the art style looks like it plays really well. Unfortunately, they added roguelike elements into it for God knows what reason. It could have just been
Unfortunately.
a good Metroidvania. Yeah, unfortunately, could have just been a good Metroidvania. Instead, they were like, "What if we ruin it?" It's just a shame. Just a shame.
Okay. Okay. Probably will be trying it out though, for sure.
Literally everyone in the chat very excited until they said roguelite. This game could have been so good.
I'll be the odd one out. I don't care.
Hashtag end roguelites. Hashtag no more roguelikes.
It's not going to catch on, Kev. I'm not going to allow it.
I know. It's a strangely weird genre to me. I don't like. I don't get it. I don't. People are like, I love making no progress in games. I love spending 2 hours and being at the same point I was 2 hours ago.
Sorry, what's that about that Bloodborne itch in the back of your brain?
That's not. I would make progress.
Oh, you want to bet?
Yeah.
I've got the Orphan of Kos for you.
I don't know what that means.
You will. You will. No sleep for Konami Date. Date? I don't know.
No sleep for Kaname Date.
From sorry.
Yes.
The Somnium Files, February 6th, 2026. Cool.
It's out on other platforms, right? Well, at least on Switch and PC, I think. So this is its PS5 port, but by all accounts, a good game. It's a long running visual novel series that is of high quality. Has some detective elements. I did try to play one, got bored, but yeah.
Fair. A demo for Octopath Traveler 0 is available now. Game's obviously coming out December 4th. So you can jump in, play your first 3 hours of the game, carry your progress over.
So many games are coming out December 4th. I don't know if you know this. Octopath Traveler, the Elden Ring Night Rain expansion, Metroid Prime 4.
There's lots
Uh,
of crossover there for sure.
yeah. Listen, I've tried both Octopath games and I fall off after a few hours. However, this isn't my fantasy league, so I'm thinking 92 would be pretty good.
I'm hearing 56.
56. Yeah,
Yeah.
imagine, yeah.
To 32. The highlight of the show for me, Once Upon a Katamari DLC packs.
Sure.
So this month, Katamari Dance Dance Remix Pack featuring 5 fresh remix tracks and custom costumes. And the Neo Remix Pack is coming later this winter. Sign me up.
Oh, wow. Rick says you'll be lucky to get a 75. The other Octopath games are like high 80s. What are you talking about, dude? Was it? Oh, I was gonna say, you ever feel like you certainly don't feel it, but chat, does anyone else ever feel like they're being pranked and Katamari can't possibly be a game that people enjoy? Like you just roll stuff into a ball?
Yeah.
You're pranking me. You're pranking me.
You pick stuff up.
Yeah, okay.
And you build the ball bigger, and then you can pick up bigger things.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely a game.
It is. Do you know what else is a game? Pac-Man World 2 Repack, getting Sonic the Hedgehog collaboration set DLC available right now.
I have the game. I don't have the DLC. I wish I did, but it was like $10 extra. Not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, Pac-Man looks very happy wearing the skinned scalp of Sonic.
Yes. Literally, it's like spread across because Pac-Man's clearly wider, so it just looks like kind of creepy.
Yeah. Sonic Racing Crossworlds SpongeBob SquarePants DLC pack coming November 19th.
And the monkeys from the Monkey
Super
Ball.
Monkey Ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Game I will play eventually.
Game I will not play eventually. Super Robot Wars. Why? DLC. That wasn't a question. That was
golf clap.
Excellent. Good for you. Tokyo Extreme Racer. Golf clap.
Golf clap.
Excellent. Fantastic. Wandering Sword. I think this is another Pulsing Breasts game.
This is a pixel art JRPG, so I'd be really surprised if it was a pulsating breast game. But it's like 16-bit, my guy.
You think I remember any of the trailers in this thing? I'm just going off of the picture on the blog. So I'm kind of getting vibes. Maybe I'm wrong. Finally, though, Kev, there was a little bit of hardware announcement. Nishino came out and recapped everything about the PlayStation 5. Clearly trying to sell to the Japanese market, which is not sure you need that in a show, but I also understand why they included it. But they did announce a 27-inch gaming monitor that comes with a built-in foldable DualSense charging hook coming to the US and Japan, not me, unfortunately, in 2026. It has, I think, 260 hertz support, 240 hertz support.
240, sorry. And then I think it's VRR up to 120. Yeah,
HDR.
Yeah, it looks like a good monitor. I think the DualSense charging thing is cool. They're clearly trying to appeal to the PC audience that would use their would be a PC and a PlayStation player, use their dual. So I know Kyle has his one DualSense for PC, one for his PlayStation. So I think it looks cool. If I was in I might look at it if I was looking to upgrade my PC because it is a 1440p monitor, right? And I only have two 1080s right now. So maybe when I look to upgrade, I'll look at it and see how it compares price wise compared to everything else. But I'm a little surprised this wasn't their like gaming brand. What was it, like InZone or something? Like, don't they have a gaming focused brand? So that was my only weird confusion with it.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess they want to more intrinsically tie it to the PlayStation brand. And like, Sony make TVs and they make good TVs. So I would expect this to be high quality. Nothing would suggest otherwise. Pricing is the sticking point. I will
Hmm.
be interested to see how much it costs.
It can't cost
Um,
that much. I feel like there's other monitors like doing like probably better specs than it is
sure, but
boosted mostly, but
it's got the
doesn't have a hook.
doesn't have, it's, other things don't have the PlayStation branding for that premium.
Yeah.
And also, there are it might be cheaper in Japan than it is in the
Hmm.
US because
Yeah.
your economy is very stable currently. So yeah, and that was it for the state of play. I mean, we shared our thoughts after the show, sort of that we weren't expecting much of anything, and we came out frankly a little bit underwhelmed because that we would have
Hmm.
hoped to have seen like one thing, one like big, not massive necessarily, but a big surprise or announcement, and we didn't get that. But I think in retrospect, it did what it needed to for its intended audience.
Yeah, it clearly wasn't for us.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what they do next, whether they do more of these, if it's an annual thing, whether they do other regions. I joked like, where's my state of play Europe? But I would be interested to see if, they have all their hero projects, like the hero project in Africa. Do they do one there centered in the African continent? I mean, that would, to me, conceptually at least, not being fully clued in, would seem a little bit more restricted. But if they scale the state of play accordingly, where it's like 15 or 20 minutes of things, in the same way that it kind of behooves them to do it for the Japanese market, I could see the reasoning for them to do it for other regions as well, where they're trying to gain market share. So
Hmm.
time will tell.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it. Maybe it's just they'll do this once a year for the Japanese market. Maybe it was a one off. Who knows?
Yeah.
Really interested to see where we go from here. But why don't we go to our next news topic, which is the big news item of the week. That is our thumbnail. Everyone's probably here to hear about, and that is Valve entering the console race with their new PC. It is a PC, but their new console, their Steam machine, they're bringing it back 10 years on after their most recent failure. So, what is the Steam machine? Well, it is a new PC gaming focused console that is coming in expected to come Q1 2026. I like that people are calling it the Gabe Cube because it is a 6-inch cube that looks like you cut a Series X in half, and that has a nice little LED strip on the front. This will be similar to the Steam Deck that has been on the market for some years now. I think it sold 5 million-ish copy or units, right? So people unfamiliar with the Steam Deck, it runs Steam OS. It is a compact version of Linux, but it runs your Steam library. You can treat it like a PC, and you can do back-end stuff to it. You get Windows on it, dual boot it, a whole bunch of stuff. But we don't currently have a release date. We have a release window. We don't currently have a price point for it. We just have some information about what the Steam machine will have. So it'll have two models, a 512 gigabyte model and a 2 terabyte model for the SSD. It will ship in a bundle with a Steam controller, but will also be available without a Steam controller. They also announced a Steam controller if you couldn't, to go along with the console. It's the most ugly thing I've ever seen. Specs: CPU, you get a semi-custom AMD Zen 4 6C 12T up to 4.8 gigahertz, 30 watts TDP. GPU is the semi-custom AMD RND A3 280 CUs. I don't even. This is too much. All right, it's got an RNDA 3 GPU. Supports 4K gaming at 60 FPS with FSR. Ray tracing is apparently supported. They say it's 6 times more powerful than a Steam Deck. You get 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM and 8 gigabytes of DDR6 VRAM. You have a micro SD card slot for expanded storage, the internal power supply, AC power 110 to 240 volts. It'll have a display port, 1.4. You can have up to 4K at 240 hertz or 8K at 60 hertz. Supports HDR, FreeSync, and daisy chaining. It'll only have HDMI 2.0. Supports, we already covered that. Have an Ethernet port. They'll support up to 1 gigabytes. It'll have USB-C ports. It'll have USB-A ports. Lots of them. It's a mini PC essentially. It will support other controllers and accessories. You can wake it up with your Steam controller, but essentially, this is the first PC console that will be launching into this new ecosystem we find ourselves. So initially, I want to know, what do you think of the Steam machine? Are you excited? Are you intrigued?
Um, yes, to both. I'm excited and intrigued, not necessarily from the perspective of purchasing it myself, but more so what it means for the market, the industry, competition generally, what innovation it will lead to, what pro consumer things it might lead to if we're being super optimistic.
Hmm.
I could be swayed into getting one eventually, but I have a pretty hefty PC as is. I don't do a lot of PC gaming typically on the whole, and I don't know that it would have anything on the software wise that would be exclusive. I don't think so. I don't see myself being a target for it, but I think that the thing that stood out to me was, you said Steam tried Steam Machine before and it sort of collapsed. I expect this one to not collapse. I expect this one to do actually quite well.
Hmm.
How well, time will tell. That's price dependent. Exactly when it releases, what support it gets, all of this. But with the integration of Steam OS, I think that it's already in a pretty advantageous position. It's coming to the market first, and I think that them announcing the Steam machine alongside the Steam frame, a new Steam controller, not outright confirming, but essentially committing to future iterations of the Steam Deck as
Hmm.
well. I think it shows that Valve are actually quite serious this time about really not necessarily trying to eke out any of the other competition in the market, but being a meaningful player in the hardware market. And I think that they have a pretty good chance of becoming not necessarily like the top dog, but a real powerhouse.
I do want to give my thoughts, but I want to touch on what you're saying because I kind of feel the same way that Steam has almost quietly, but not quietly, built themselves into a position to have a really strong ecosystem. We see PlayStation and Xbox establishing these ecosystems, by spreading to PC, getting play anywhere, maybe a cross buy feature, depending on how PlayStation goes. Like we have handheld devices, like they're making these style of moves. Steam has been on PC so long, like people have built up their libraries. They have primarily always just been, hey, we're a storefront. Now they're extending into the hardware space, and it's almost more attractive to people, I would think, because you have your library built up, and now it's just you have your PC already. Here's another way to experience that, and that is the promise of what Xbox and PlayStation have been saying for a while now, right? Like that's their goal, and it almost feels like Steam is I don't want to say beating them to the punch, but it does kind of feel like that, where we have the Steam Deck, which wasn't 5 million is a very good for a PC handheld, right? If this comes out and they've refined the Steam OS even more, which by all accounts is the best console like experience that you would get from one of these PCs, it's easy to use. They market it well. They put it into not only like you buy it from them, but they need to be in retailers for this to have widespread adoption. It can't be like the Steam Deck where you can buy it from here, and then I think you can buy refurbished ones, at least in the states, from GameStop. You need to be able to go into a Best Buy, a Walmart, a Target. You need to go into these retailers and have a Steam section like we do Nintendo, PlayStation, X. Like, get yourselves into these retail spaces, have your boxes there, your prices, like, because when consumers are going in and they're looking at what console should I buy, and they see that, and you have a good price point, which we'll talk about some hypotheses about that. But if you can nail that price point, I think you have a very attractive offer for people that maybe they're not PC gamers, maybe they are console gamers, but this could be their entryway into PC gaming with an almost console like experience.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of briefly touched on it, saying about beating like Xbox, obviously specifically to the punch in terms of a sort of PC console esque hybrid thing. And I've heard some people argue that that isn't necessarily the case because Xbox as a brand has more sort of inherent cachet and is more at the forefront of average consumers' minds than
Mm-hmm.
Valve is. And that's like obviously
Sure.
true.
Yeah.
But like you said, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, and I would believe that this is what Valve is going to do. They are going to push this relatively hard because I don't know that they would put out this suite of devices and not really try and put them in the living rooms of consumers, which is what the whole point of it is. So I think that they are going to kick up marketing campaigns more so than they ever have. It's less a direct to consumer, direct to order thing like the Steam Deck was. And Christ, if they start doing that in conjunction with the Steam Deck and marketing Steam Decks in retailers as well, you look at Steam Deck, even the Steam Deck OLED, and you then compare that to a ROG Ally X, and you're like, well, the Steam Deck is half the price.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, it doesn't have some of the functionality, and the OSs are obviously
Yeah.
different, but like, and you can technically access Steam on the, but for consumers being like, oh, I kind of want a handheld. Well, I don't want to be like in this economy. It's like, well, but the, you are setting yourself up to be the far more enticing option. And I am that goes back to my original statement. I'm just really intrigued to see how this goes because we were all expecting this to happen. It's kind of in a weird way reminiscent of the like Halo on PS5 thing. We were all expecting this to happen, but when it did happen, it didn't change the fact that it still felt kind of weird that
Mm-hmm.
this is happening. Like, oh, we're here, and we now have a Steam console, for want of a better word. So
Yeah, and I know by all, it is technically a
it
PC,
is,
but it's meant to give you the console experience. And that is what
yeah,
the Steam OS has been designed to do. It's functionally easier to use. You don't have to do as much tinkering with it like PC gaming. So, in terms of my thoughts, like, does this appeal to me? I'm probably not the consumer base for this, right? Like, I just got a new PC. My PC is more powerful than this box will be, right? And we'll talk about the specs a little more because I have some quandaries with what they're touting essentially. But like, I have a PC that I'm happy with. If this was like a cheap option to just throw downstairs on the living room TV, like, I do think it's enticing, this ecosystem approach. Like, I know I have been critical of Xbox for abandoning exclusives and how I think that affects our hardware. I have never faulted Xbox for their ecosystem approach.
Mhm.
I think Xbox, from their Play Anywhere to initiative, cloud game, like making you able to play all your games on multiple, like I think that is a fantastic initiative. I think Steam is now seeing the same thing and they're doing that, but I almost think they might be doing it in a easier to digest and understand way for normal consumers. Because like I said, when I go into Target right now, I have a PlayStation section. I have two Nintendo sections actually. At least this is my Target. You know, your results will vary. And I have a little Xbox thing with just digital key cards. Like they don't have consoles in there anymore. That my Target has is one of those that has done away with that. And I know that is not the case for everyone. But if I go in there and see a Steam section with boxes under there, you're going to research that. You're going to look into it. You're going to compare prices. What can I play on this? What can I not play on that? And what you can play on Steam is all your Xbox games, all your PC games, PlayStation games when they come to the platform, whether they go day and day or a year later or 2 year, how like you will have the widest array of games available to you by choosing this device. Now, whether you care about frames and the highest performance is a whole different story because this is, by all accounts, a lower end PC. But I do think there's something, and I'm going to bring up Captain Logan's comment here. PCs are on the rise with the younger generations compared to consoles. I think that is a fantastic point because when kids are asking their parents for, hey, dad, can you get me a PC? That might be a bigger ask than say, hey, can you get me a Steam machine? Depending on the price point, of course, right? This could be a middle ground and it offers so many options, not only hopefully in affordability, but in games you can play. No online subscription fee to play online. Like it just seems like a very consumer friendly little console that could have huge ramifications for not only Xbox, PlayStation, but like the console market in general.
Yeah. And like to your point about, oh, it might, might not be able to achieve the highest fidelity or highest frames. I think that that is ultimately irrelevant outside of the bubble that we're in,
I agree.
of
Yeah,
like,
Switch has proven that.
exactly. And also even beyond that, all of the like live service games, they aren't massively taxing, outside of a couple of things, but even then, competent enough. And beyond that, all of the like, not that I endorse or entertain myself with it at all, but all of the trending, memeable, TikTok breakthrough, hot topic games are, for want of a better word, like pretty bad looking. They aren't high graphics, high
Hmm.
fidelity, high frame rate. They aren't the
Peak,
triple A's.
peak, mega
Exactly.
bonk, like
Yep.
friend
Those.
slot
And
games.
this machine will run all of those perfectly fine. So when you're targeting, like Logan said, the younger generations who are into that sort of TikTok, what's trending, what's hot, what's everyone talking about, what's on social media, like I think that's where it matters. And this is what that machine is probably going to be best at doing. Not obviously not discounting that like PS5s couldn't run it, but a lot of those trending games aren't on consoles. They're PC only.
Hmm.
So like you're cornering the market even more than you already have. And the other upside is that even if, like, to me and you, we were like, we're not really the target audience. Well,
No.
Steam still have us anyway already.
Yeah, yeah. I'm already. That's where I buy most of
So
my games these days.
we're spending our money on software on their store. So regardless of whether we buy the new hardware or not, or whether we're the target audience, they still have the biggest PC storefront that the most amount of people on PC are already investing in very heavily. So they win either way.
Can the chat? Yes, so can it. Steam Machine will be the best way to play Horizon Steel Frontiers. I mean,
God damn it.
I obviously a joke. Can someone in the chat tell me? I don't know if we know this. One thing I'm looking at in terms of getting this to appeal to younger generations who really value the social aspect of gaming. Will you be able to have some sort of voice chat on this? Like, I don't know what the Steam Deck's able to do, but like, could you reasonably install Discord, connect your headset via Bluetooth, right, and just have your own party chat system without Steam having to develop it? Like, I assume so. I wonder if they make that easier on this device, if that's not like a built-in feature, though.
Yeah. I assume there would be some way. I can't imagine that Discord wouldn't be interested in figuring out some way to integrate it into the.
Steam
Um,
Friend Chat. I didn't even know that was a thing.
that is the thing. Um, and worst case scenario, not that this would be ideal for consumers, but you would be able to sideload Windows on this thing. So,
Yeah, I'm thinking like
but
basic
actually
consumers. Yeah, yeah,
baked
yeah.
into. I can't imagine there won't be something, even if it isn't a third party like Discord, whether it's a more refined, more easily accessible Steam friends chat like Silknet said. I think that I can't imagine that Valve aren't thinking about that.
Well, chat has let me know that that is something that's already built into Steam. I was unaware of that, but I'll only ever use Discord playing. Actually, I used TeamSpeak back in the day. You guys remember that TeamSpeak? I do. So that's great. That's good to know. Like I said, I think this has a lot of advantages, especially for those younger generations. Now, I want to bring up something that they've been touting, right? Because I've seen a lot of people say 4K 60 with FSR, but I've also seen them say this is the performance they're targeting is a 4060 NVIDIA card, right? Not really a 4K card. Not really, from what I can tell, these specs, not really a 4K machine. And we saw that in some of the previews. I can't remember if it was IGN or Digital Foundry, but they were saying like Silent Hill F was running at like 15 to 20 FPS when they like before they had to turn a bunch of the settings down. And so this is again, you will have to lower the settings on newer AAA games most likely to get higher frame rates. So expect this more to be like a 1080p machine, I would say, is a good, which is completely fine, I think,
Mhm.
because I play most of my games at 1080p. Well, all my games at 1080p, I should say these days, because I got 1080p monitors now. But I have no problem with that. I think for what you're getting potentially, that's a good deal. Now, well, good deal, I should say. What do we think the price point is? Because that determines what's a good deal.
Yeah. I I really don't know. Like, my gut would tell me that Steam will try and undercut on price. Not only because they need to try and be competitive on the market if they are wanting this to become not necessarily a fully mainstream device, but something more prevalent than a Steam Deck. And also, Valve is a privately owned company, so they don't have boards of investors to please like
Mm-hmm.
Xbox does. That's so I would wager it's going to be. I'm going to put it in a range because I don't
Yeah,
feel
that's fine.
confident enough. I think absolute lowest I could see it being, if they were trying to be really crazy, would be like 550 or something.
Okay.
But I think realistically, it's probably somewhere between 6 and 800.
Okay.
I don't
Interesting.
I don't think they go any higher than 8
M-
personally.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I personally don't think it's 800. I think it's going to be cheaper than that. My initial reaction, Rick says in the chat, was 699, get 700.
Mm,
My initial reaction has kind of been revised since hearing Digital Foundry and other people really go into it, where people were comparing it to the Steam Deck, which the price point was like, oh, those are right now like $300 to $400 still, right? The thing you have to remember is like that's a handheld, has a screen, like there's more things than just this little box that go
mm,
into making those that really bump the price up. And I think it was Digital Foundry said that based on the specs, what they're seeing, they think 400 would be reasonable.
ooh,
I think that is probably too low.
yeah.
I think they're going off just based on like compared to the PS5 and what this console can do. This is clearly a weaker piece of hardware than PS5, Series X, and those were $500 at launch. I think we do. I see Nissa in the chat saying, how much of effect does tariffs play, especially here in the United States? So my range is probably 5 to 700.
Okay.
If they can hit that $500 price point, I think that's a phenomenal.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Like that I think you would get a lot of sales, a lot of people who were vaguely interested, being like, I can swing that just to like experience it. I think if you go above 700, you're really pushing it, because then you get into things like the PS5 Pro is so much more powerful, right? Like we have next gen consoles coming, which might be a little more expensive than that or around the same price. So it's like, do you wait for that? I think you would really be pushing it if you go above the $700 mark for what you're getting. So if you keep it in that 5 to 700 range, I think you have a very compelling offer for people.
Eat the cost, Gabe. You can do it. I believe in
Well,
you.
they could. So that was a conversation I saw people talk. They're confused because like everyone's talking about, well, Xbox's new hardware, right, is supposed to be 1,000 plus. So people are like, well, how is Steam going to do this? And one, the Xbox is undoubtedly going to be way more powerful than this
Mhm.
piece of hardware. And two, Steam could, I'm not saying they will, they could subsidize the cost of this. They
Yeah.
could take a very traditional console model and say, it comes with Steam OS, you're going to buy your games through Steam, and that'll help us recoup the cost of that. Like that has been the console model, PlayStation Store, Xbox Store. And Xbox supposedly isn't doing the subsidizing anymore because they're going to have an open like PC system. So you can't really do that, right? So yeah, that's another idea that I think could keep the cost low.
Yeah. I I do wonder how aggressive they're going to be, because logically to me I would be as aggressive as I possibly can be, because I'm not saying that this was a calculated move considering how Xbox has trended over the past year, and news stories that have come out about what's in Xbox's future. But I do think there is something about s- there is something compelling about Valve seizing the moment right now, where they jump in before Microsoft officially announces that hardware. And granted, like you're totally right that it will inevitably be probably twice as powerful, if not more, than what this machine can do. But it's also something of like, what is the calculus? What is the ratio currently in today's economy, just in the world in general, of value versus power? Which one
Mm-hmm.
do people prefer more? And that's kind of the unknown right now, particularly when we're talking about Valve, because they just haven't done anything like this before. So when it comes to something that is, again, for all intents and purposes, a PC emulating a console experience from a PC centric, you know, corporation, I don't know.
So Kyle asked in the chat, said, if you want, or sorry, does this just invalidate Microsoft's next hardware? And I would say no. Um, I do think, we've been on record about how Xbox's next hardware is I think going to be a niche product regardless. But I don't think this invalidates it, just because I think they'll be targeting different audiences. Like Microsoft would clearly be targeting the premium experience, people that care about more power, almost the PC audience, but they don't want a PC because it has things like Windows, like all the tinkering. So hopefully Xbox's next console is a refined version of that full screen experience they've been putting out on the handhelds, and it does kind of feel like what Steam OS is doing, a console-like experience on a PC, being able to switch between storefronts easily. So I don't think that would invalidate it. I do think this now is a competitor
Yeah.
to that piece. Again, it goes right back to what you were just saying. Do you value performance and frames and resolution, or do you value a good deal that'll get you like, this is good enough? Like
It'll do
I'm
the
a
job.
yeah, do the job. Like, what is more important to you? So I think it's two different audiences, two different consumer bases they're looking at. It remains to be seen which one will pan out. If I had to put money on it, I don't know which way I would go, because Xbox does have that name recognition in the console space right now. It'll depend on what their system looks like, what the price for that is. But I do think, like, if Steam can build up the marketing, make people know what this is, and be like, hey, this is a console experience playing PC games, and it'll come at a like a much cheaper version, I think that could be very enticing.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree that I don't think it invalidates Microsoft's next hardware, but I would put an asterisk next to that, and I would say that it takes some of the wind out of its sails. Because I think like the USP of the next hardware is having access to everything in quotes. And this Steam machine is going to have that for all intents and purposes. In the same way that on the ROG Ally you can sideload things and get access to all these different storefronts and yada yada yada. Like you'll be able to do this on the Steam machine. You'll be able to, through Windows, sideload the Xbox PC store and therefore Game Pass. So I think it does take some of the momentum out, because technically, even again, if the Xbox version is obviously going to be more powerful, hopefully more refined and streamlined and integrated, you are beating them to market with what uh, a toned down version of what you are promising. So it's not going to be quite as novel when
Also,
Xbox come to market.
Steam is the big thing, right? Like the next Xbox will play Steam games, so
Precisely.
like Steam is going to be happy either way, right? Like
Yeah.
they're going to be making money either on their hardware or someone else's hardware.
Yeah. And I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I have thought over the past, well, technically the past couple of weeks, but specifically when GTA 6 got delayed and now with this Steam announcement, I must admit, I am sincerely kind of interested to see if Xbox's hardware plans change at all over the next year. I say that because GTA 6 at the first half of next year was going to be a big boon for console sales, and they now aren't going to have that for, this isn't how the quarters work, but for an additional 2 quarters, essentially for
Yeah.
6 months. So if the hardware for Xbox is continuing to trend down, as we can assume it's going to, regardless of big games that they have, and then the Steam machine comes out, and if that, especially if it does well, does does Satya look at that and think, well, they've beaten us to market with a version of what we're going to do, and they are half the price of us. we have to come out and say, hey, we're doing this thing that the Steam machine does. Things will look nicer, but you're going to pay us 1100. I don't think that that is going to like derail anything, but I do wonder whether this, alongside GTA, not buttressing console sales for them in the first half of next year, whether that does augment their plans at all
Yeah,
in terms of just how premium it's going to be.
yeah, I just don't think they care anymore about
Probably
like
not.
I don't like that number could come out and be anything. I don't think that's really gonna affect their plan. I'm pretty sure they're going to stick to what their plans are for next gen at least, and then after that we'll reassess from there. But certainly, I do, like I assume the people at Microsoft knew this was going to happen at some like they had to have an inkling of this
Sure.
announcement. That's just how the industry works. But I do wonder if when you get a price, how they react to that.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe they don't care at all. Maybe there's again two different consumer bases that they're trying to target. Maybe that is their strategy and they're going to stick to it. Um, but again, it could be very interesting not only for Xbox. I saw some wild takes, people claiming, oh well, PlayStation's gonna take their games away from Steam now. You can't be playing
Sure.
PlayStation on another console. I'm like, that's not like people just make stuff up and think it makes sense. And I was like, they're getting the money. So it's no different than buying it on your PC, and they're completely content with that. That's why they're content with people doing it on their Xbox ROGL. Like PlayStation really doesn't care if you're buying their PC games
You're
on
giving
PCs.
PlayStation money and gaining mindshare by playing their games instead of other people's games? Oh no.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a very enticing prospect for people that want to play a variety of games. Xbox is banking on that for their next console as well, where want they hope access is a driving factor. They
Mhm.
hope that that will be enough to get people to adopt their platform, and say, hey, if you have a PC library, you're welcome here. If you have an Xbox library, you're welcome here. If you have a PlayStation library, you're welcome here because we have Game Pass. We have all this other stuff that can help you have an instant library. Um, and it's not locked down to a single ecosystem. Or they're banking on that, and we'll wait to see what actually plays out. But PlayStation seems to be sticking to their more traditional approach. I will say, like I expect the PS6 to basically be the PS5 again, but they've added, as we talked about, the handheld. They're moving more into the PC market, which I think only benefits them, but also the Steam machine and Xbox's future hardware.
Mhm. Yeah, we are really in uncharted territory. Uh, it's scary because, as people who, I mean, I know you've transitioned to PC, but as someone who is still very, very firmly, preferably in the console space, it is a bit spooky to. I mean, I'm fine either way, obviously,
Hmm.
but in terms of preference, I am not concerned because I think like there's no reason to be concerned about any of this really, but just a bit spooked about what things are going to look like in the short term, midterm, and long term. And at the same time, it's very exciting because I don't think that the gaming space, not only in terms of content, because obviously we've had tons of amazing games recently and they're only getting better and coming out more frequently, but the hardware space is becoming more unprecedented and innovative. And for the most part, outside of some pricing, obviously, the things that the consoles are offering are more and more pro consumer. So
Hmm.
I think
Do
I would love to see what conversation we're having in a year's time.
do you? And this is tangentially related, but do
Mhm.
you see a world where this Steam machine comes out? Clearly, you don't need to pay for online because it's a PC. Xbox's next console comes out, and by all accounts,
Can't have.
they're going to do away with the online pay requirement because you can't have a open platform where some other platforms can don't need the subscription, and then your storefront games would. Like that doesn't make any sense. So Game Pass is going to change. Do you see a world where those two are on the market and they say, "Hey, free online," and PlayStation says, "Well, crap, now we need to follow suit to make our box more enticing"? Does Nintendo, who is barely running online at this point, right? Like they have a great subscription service, but in terms of online infrastructure, like it's like $2 a month. Like they barely charge as it is. Do we think that this changes the landscape for online?
I mean, the honest answer is I don't know, but I don't. There's no denying, even if we don't know the answer, it can only benefit us. Because if the Steam machine obviously isn't going to have it, the Xbox system can't have it really by definition. I mean, if they do, then good luck, I guess. Um, that's not going to make PlayStation like increase the price, like even if PlayStation don't bend down and be like, no, we'll get rid of the paid online, even if they don't do that, they aren't going to raise the barrier to entry for it, right? So at the bare minimum, worst case scenario, PlayStation stays as it is, which inherently would technically, in many people's eyes, by default, make it the worst option in terms of online play.
Mm-hmm.
But it also means that people who are in the PlayStation ecosystem who don't really care all that much about paying for online aren't going to be nickel and dimed more, because if they do, then PlayStation are obviously signing their death warrant in terms of that facet of the ecosystem.
Yeah, I obviously the most profitable games are free to play games, which you don't need to pay for online
Exactly.
anyway. But like, I do wonder because like Call of Duty and like the premium online games, which are on the platform and are successful, like MLB The Show and Helldivers is making a lot of money for them, right? Like, if you can play those on those other two machines without the cost of a subscription, I do wonder if that makes them rethink things. And obviously, they would either have to lower the price because you're now not, you're not getting something you were paying for, or give you some more realistic option. They would throw a benefit in there, and I expect Game Pass to do the same, right? Like, hey, no online anymore. We're not lowering the price though. We're gonna throw in this new benefit, which will probably be like some like, oh, do they give us a fourth PS Plus game now or something, like something, that clearly isn't as valuable, but they'll pass it off as such.
Yeah, I mean, the cynic in me would assume that I imagine it will be similar to the cross-play scenario, where PlayStation will be sort of resolute up until the 11th hour, and they'll just stand firm, business as usual, and that if they do have to give up the paid online, they will be dragged kicking and screaming doing it. And like fair play, like I get it for them, because it is, why would you not want that revenue?
Mm-hmm.
But in the same way, if everybody else is doing things a different way and you're the odd one out, there will reach a threshold where people not won't turn on you. That's a bit too strong, but you will lose some favor. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what that would look like for them.
Yeah, just a quandary I was tossing around in my
Yeah, I
brain.
mean,
Well,
it goes back to our point of just like inherently this situation in general is going to prompt varying degrees in varying areas competition, and that almost always benefits us.
mm-hmm.
So we'll find out.
Yeah, well, as I said, we're not going to talk much about it, but they did announce the Steam Frame along with it, which is a VR headset. I expect that to be quite pricey, knowing the VR headsets on the market. Steam controller, which I will never, if even if I had one, I would get it without the controller and just use a controller that I have, because I cannot imagine using that thing. It has like touch pads below the analog stick. So like, oh my God, what are we doing here? And then did they announce anything else? It was the Steam machine. That was the three
Yeah.
announcements. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I will say I agree that the Steam controller looks kind of horrendous, but from the previews I've read, people I've listened to that got hands on with it, it's actually apparently not as bad as it looks once you actually have it in your hands, and that it sort of I kept hearing like it makes sense once you're holding it. So
It reminds me of the Duke controller, like how
yes,
big it is,
absolutely.
like just a
It's
chonky
got that
boy.
bulk to it. Yeah,
Yeah, it does. Which I liked the Duke controller. I was one of the few. I was like, that's a great controller.
yeah. I mean the touchpad. I mean, I think obviously something that is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way is that they are not asymmetric sticks.
That's rubbing me the wrong way for sure.
I mean, it's the right way to do it, obviously, because
These
the best
psychopaths
controller is
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 this
this one.
one right here.
Is that a PS5 one you got off Temu? That looks a bit wrong.
No, it's an Xbox controller. See,
What's an Xbox?
my PC's an Xbox.
Ah, right,
My
okay. Sorry.
PlayStation is an Xbox.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Everything is an Xbox. Yeah, that's just. Is there anything else you want to cover about the Steam machine before it? Like, I was excited. Like, I was in the hype yesterday. I was watching videos. I was seeing everyone. I was in the engaging with people. But like again, I'm caught up in the excitement, but not something I'm looking to purchase.
Yeah. I mean, I think the last thing that's worth raising is launching again, likely Q1 next year. Do they have any software to go along with it?
Oh, that's a good talking point for sure. Because I've seen people bring this up. You know, if you're launching a console, quote unquote, you usually have a console launch title to go along with it. You know, you got your Mario Kart, you got your Miles Morales and other Demon Souls, right? You
Mhm.
have
Halo
nothing.
Infinite. Oh wait, no.
Nothing. No, yeah. Sorry. I was gonna say Yakuza Like a Dragon
That's right. That's right.
and Gears Tactics were my launch titles. No, I was obviously teasing, but yes, you're supposed to have a launch title to get people interested. Obviously, there won't be anything exclusive because
No.
it's Steam. You'll be able to play it on your PC. But I see people throwing things out like Half-Life 3 is clearly going to get announced because that's been a long rumor, right? Or I've seen people say, what's a new Team Fortress game
Mhm.
was a rumor that I saw going around. And I'm like, I can't tell if people are pulling this out of the air for like hopium or if there's actually some credibility. Cause like we've heard the Half-Life rumors for over a year now, right? Like you saw Half-Life, I think X in some data files. So like this has been something percolating. I don't want to buy into like it almost feels like a conspiracy theory.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say that they do have something. I don't know what it is. I hope it's not just Deadlock, like an official 1.0 for Deadlock. That would be
Yeah.
a real bummer. I mean, I wouldn't mind if that was part of the lineup, but I would hope that they actually have a system seller, if you will.
Introducing Steam Pass.
Sounds like a great deal. It's only $40 a month. I wouldn't be interested in Team Fortress. Got to say, I never understood the Team Fortress
Nah, me
hype.
either. I played 2 and I was like, this is a game.
I always thought the vignettes were obviously fun, like they're great, but like the game itself, I really just couldn't care less about.
Left 4 Dead 3.
I would be up for.
Yeah, I would be up for that. That'd be yeah. That would be
Honestly,
something I'd
that
be
probably more than
looking.
Half-Life, to be
Same.
honest.
Yeah, I don't care about. I honestly don't care about. I have Half-Life 2. I've never played Half-Life. You give me Left 4 Dead 3. I get me, my friends, we're all there day one. Like we were pumped for Back for Blood. All right, like I'm looking for these type of games.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a betting man, as crazy as it is to say, I would probably think it's Half-Life 3. And I know that that's like meme, obviously.
Well, we got Silk Song.
Yeah, and also, like you said, Half-Life X was in Data Mind, and take it or leave it, Half-Life Alyx did actively mess with the end of Half-Life 2 Episode 2. So they're clearly interested in telling a version of that story, continuing it. And like mild spoilers, I guess, on Half-Life Alex. You do technically play as Gordon Freeman at the end of that game for like
Mm.
30 seconds. You don't really do anything, you just stand there, but you've got the crowbar and you're wearing the gloves. I think I saw something over the past couple of days as well that like somewhere on Steam, I can't remember whether it was in the back end or actually on the Valve page. There's an upcoming games section,
Mm-hmm.
and there would it says that there are 2 upcoming games, but only one is visible. One obviously
Yeah.
being Deadlock.
Deadlock.
So they're like, well, what's the other one? I think it's time. You know, I will eat crow, no doubt. I'll be wrong, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to manifest. I do like Half-Life. I think it is overrated, but I do think that Half-Life 2 in the moment when it was released did do a lot of very impressive things. And Gabe has said, and people at Valve have said, that they'd only want to do Half-Life 3 if they could not necessarily replicate that, but do like the same innovative approach. And that is exciting because if Half-Life 3 is happening, then that would suggest that they have found a way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in the exact same way that we're talking about the hardware brewing competition, I think a lot of games post Half-Life 2 used Half-Life 2 as a template, as inspiration for storytelling, for mechanics, for all of these things.
It
So, could the software provoke competition? Could it revolutionize first-person shooters again? I know that's very hyperbolic to say, but they did it once before. So,
what whatever game, if they have a game that they're going to launch alongside the Steam machine, I think you should bundle it in.
yeah, I could see that.
Not like even if you include it in the like, obviously won't know if it's included in the price,
Sure.
but like I think you should bundle it in so people immediately have your new software, because I do think bundling games in attracts people to your hardware more. Like Astrobot was a good idea. Mario Kart obviously has sold gangbusters. Like even Horizon, when they had those bundles, like people were
Mhm.
getting them. So I do think there is something to that that makes it more enticing. But obviously, like Half-Life, if it was Half-Life, you would do just fine regardless if you decided not to bundle it in.
Yeah. I just remembered Portal as well.
Portal, Portal 3?
Yeah.
Just
I would die.
you would just straight up die.
I would pass away.
Game Award. Everyone tune in 28 days. Game Awards. Valve gets on stage, announces Portal 3, and Sam will
If
just
that stage goes pitch
die.
black and then you just see like a red circle appear on the screen in the back and you hear GLaDOS, like I'm
It's-
done.
That's crazy. Can I interest you in the Entropy Center?
Does the Entropy Center have J.K. Simmons in it?
No.
Portal does. So,
Well, it's a great game though. Clearly Portal inspired.
yeah. You know another game that was
Portal
inspired
2.
by Portals?
Portal 2.
No, Bucky Squire.
No. What?
I mean, you went through portals and you changed
Oh
your
yeah,
perspective.
of
So,
course. Yeah, sure. Splitgate. I should have said.
I heard that's going well as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. I think the hype will only continue to I expect more marketing beats to come out. Obviously, we have price, we have release dates, we have potential software. So like we'll continue to hear about this for the next couple of months. Because we're only a few months away from Q1
Yeah.
2026. Yeah. So I'm excited. I think this could be very big for Steam,
Final
for
question.
Valve, for Mock. Yeah.
Do we see anything about this at the Game Awards? Hardware or software?
Um Yes.
I think so too.
Yes. I'm going yes. I think especially knowing the numbers the Game Awards brings in these days, the fact that it's on Amazon Prime, like I assume a Game Awards will continue to, like, this is going to be bigger than last year. And if you're looking to sell a console, you might as well do it like announce yourself on the biggest stage. I think Xbox obviously tried to do that with the Series X, right? So I'm saying yes.
Yep, agreed.
And you can put skins on it. I see Nissa say that's a companion cube cover.
Mm,
You could. They brought the faceplates, but 360 faceplates are back. Get excited.
yeah,
But
they should do coats like the Series
yeah, the
X does.
jackets, little
Oh,
little
sorry, yeah, jackets.
jackets.
That's right.
Put little arms on them. Make them
Oh
cute.
yeah, yeah.
All right, Sam. I think that'll do it for our show today. Kyle says put pre-orders live right then. Amazon Prime immediately pushes notifications to everyone watching.
I'm sure that will go very well.
That would be crazy. Also, people would be so mad. So mad.
Scalpers galore.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, should I scalp a Steam box? A Gabe Cube. All right, Sam. That'll do it for our show. You want to let everyone know where they can find you?
Yes, people can find me anywhere and everywhere at Sam Heaney, Heaney.
And you can find me at the Muffin Mon. It's a 1-7 I own 7A. Follow us at Save the Game Media over on Blue Sky to stay up to date with all of our latest content. Until next time, thank you everyone for hanging out. We will see you.